past couple of years, the Marysville cheer team has seen many new changes and familiar faces return to the cheer program. Today joining me is head coach Laura Dodd, who was previously the head coach of the program from 1991 to 2004, and went on to coach the state championship team in 2003. As the Marysville cheer team rounds out their season this year, they still have many more goals they would like to achieve, and we are hopeful that they will be able to achieve them. It seems like people are unaware of what competition cheer is really about. Could you explain the difference for us?
Sideline cheer, basically the team is in support of the football team during the fall season. So that really isn't, there are rules, but not necessarily rules put out by the MHSAA. Competitive cheer for the winter season is its own sport in and of itself, and that is regulated by the MHSAA.
There are 3 different rounds the team competes in during the competition. Can you explain what each round consists of?
Round 1 is called the required round. It has a time limit of 1.5 minutes. There are 2 jumps required and I believe 6 formation changes required. That is all for that round. Round 2 is called the compulsory round. So there are a list of skills that teams can choose from, and teams would choose the highest difficulty that all team members on the floor could all do in unison. And they choose 5 skills for that round plus a 10 count. And that is what round 2 consists of. Round 3 is called the open round. That's the one that is everybody's favorite because that includes everything. That's a 2.5 minute timed routine, and that includes stunts, jumps, tumbling, anything and everything within the rules that a team can put into that round.
With your years of experience with coaching the sport, how have you learned to perfect the routine and manipulate the sheets in the best way possible?
I think over the years I just kind of have learned the things that work and the things that don't work, and probably one of the things that helps me put together a routine the most is the years of judging that I did, because I got to know how judges think and how they score things, and it makes it easier when choreographing routines and knowing who to put in and the formations to do. It's just been those years of experience that have helped me kind of figure out the best way to put things together that works for us.
After leaving Marysville, how were you still involved in the cheer world?
In 2004, I started choreographing for other teams. So as soon as I was done coaching, I started doing choreography, and over the probably 5 years after that, it had gotten so busy that I was choreographing for 2 different teams on the same day, which is very hard to do, to keep that much choreography in my head and teach two different routines to 2 different teams in 2 different places on the same day. So that got to be very busy. And then I started working out of a gym. So we would have teams come to us to learn basic tumbling, to work on some choreography. And then I started an all-star team as well. And that probably went on for probably till about 2008, 2009.
What made you decide to come back to coaching?
I had moved out to the West Coast, so I lived on the Pacific coast of Oregon for 10 years, moved back to the area when my husband retired from the military, and I was here for 2 years, judged for 2 years, and then this coaching job, my old coaching job, opened up, and Mrs. Carden, who is one of my former cheerleaders, sent me the job posting, and the rest is history.
How has cheerleading and coaching changed since your previous time coaching?
It's changed a lot, mostly because technology has changed. When I coached last, not even all of the team members had cell phones. So, and then they certainly didn't have phones with these types of cameras. Definitely not any video available via phone. So that's been probably the biggest technological change, is that I can video practice, and then team members can review the videos that night. It was VHS tapes back in the day.
Does it stay the same at all?
Kids are always the same. Kids are exactly the same, as a matter of fact. That never changes. And the basics of the sport have stayed the same. In the meantime, we've come up with a 104-page manual that is quite difficult to learn. But for the most part, the basics of the sport have stayed the same, and kids are always the same.
Did you have any goals when returning to Marysville?
Mostly I wanted to kind of build the program up to what it had been, build the numbers, which we're still working on bit by bit. We're growing the numbers in the program, but also growing the program down to the middle school and trying to get more involved with junior cheer. So we're trying to build a little juggernaut like Allen Park, who's been the Division II state champion forever. They all the way down to their little kids. They have hundreds and hundreds of kids involved. And so to ever be competitive with them, we have to build numbers that are similar. So that was a big goal.
Was there any goals that changed once you got here?
Yeah, you guys were actually good. So, competitively, my goals for the team got a little more lofty because you were able to, the team was like sponges, and so they really took in all the information that I gave and implemented it into what they did every day. And so we got to see great scores in competition right away. And those scores kept going up and have done so again this year as well.
With now being 2 years back into your coaching, have you fallen back into the same type of routine that you had, or has anything changed since then?
It is, pretty much it's the same routine. Practice is basically the same. Competitions, there are more weeknight competitions than there used to be. It used to be just Saturday competitions. And we used to cheer at all basketball games. So it would be Monday practice, Tuesday game, Wednesday practice, Thursday practice, Friday game, Saturday competition. So it's that schedule has changed a little bit, but I feel like with social media and having 24-hour basically access to the team and the team having that type of access to me, that it kind of feels like post-practice time, it doesn't ever really shut off like it used to. We had a phone tree, and that's how we contacted each other. So now that everybody has cell phones on them constantly, the connection feels like it's constant, which is a really good thing and then also not a good thing.
What has your team already accomplished this year?
So far we have added skills into our rounds that we had not had before. So we worked a lot in the off season and in the fall season on achieving more gymnastic skills and stunting skills. And so we've been able to add those into our routines, which has been great. And then we have also just won the MAC championship for the second year in a row. That was last week. And this week we're heading into districts, and we are hopefully moving on to regionals from there.
What goals do you have for your team moving forward for the rest of the season?
Our goal is to finish the season strong. We've struggled a little bit with our round 3 and keeping it clean. So a big goal is to have a clean round 3. Rounds 1 and 2 keep improving, and so the goal with those is to keep them improving, have a clean round 3, and hopefully that is enough to move on to regionals, and then we'll see where we go from there.
With your season coming to the end in the next short weeks, what memories will you take from this year's team?
This year was by far my hardest year coaching ever due to COVID and everything, all of the side effects from that. Having to re-choreograph specifically round 3 probably 10 times this season. I love choreography, but not 10 times in one season. Was super difficult, and having to move kids in and out and around in round 3 was super hard on the team as well. And we were just talking at practice that we never have felt like we've fell into our rhythm of the season, because every competition except for 2 at this point were having to make major changes due to COVID, regular injuries. So I think my most positive memories so far from this season going forward will be that I will always remember, particularly the senior class. I'll always remember them for their hard work and especially their tenacity and being able to take everything in stride and put their best foot forward every competition.
And finally, what are the goals that you have for the next seasons moving forward?
To continue to build numbers would be my number one goal. The more we can build numbers, the more we can further our skill level. We have 21 on the team this season, but very particular sets of people who can do particular skills. And so to build the numbers and then to build the level of skill for every team member would be great. It would make substitutions so much easier, and to just keep building it forward and getting us more known in the community. I think for people to know that there is another option for a girls' winter sport, I think is a really good thing. And it seems to be going very well, and we're just going to keep it moving forward.
Thank you so much for joining us, Coach Dodd, for this interview. Good luck to your team, and make sure to go out and watch the Marysville cheer team in their upcoming competitions.
Thank you.
Thank you.